Rolly, thank you so much for that, and thank you, Trading Pub, for having me again. I know it's been a while. How's everybody doing this interesting week in the market? Hell of a volatility we're having, aren't we? Good to see you, Michael. Everyone, how's everybody doing? Just give me a chat back. Want to see if everybody can hear me loud and clear, other than Yana and everyone else. Alan, how you doing? And good, good, good. All right, good. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for sticking around. I know it's been a long day, a lot of great speakers today. And the greatest thing about what Trading Pub is doing, they run what a fabulous event they run. You know, they do these events, and I always look forward to doing them and talking to all of you, because right now you have to remember this is like the cheapest, best trade you're going to make, and the cheapest trade is getting educated. A lot of great speakers today, a lot of great content, and you know, I know that everyone's offering some great products, and I always tell everybody, you should all go out there and sample a little bit of everybody's product, because you know what? Everybody's going to be able to teach you something. I know I've listened to a lot of the speakers that have been here, and hey, you know what? Great traders never stop learning, and that's why all of you guys are here. All right, so let's talk about what today's topic is going to be, how to excel in the times of extreme volatility. All right, so this is one of the most exciting things that I love to teach. And before I go into the education part of it and train you guys, just want to kind of give you a quick little intro. I don't want to bore you with the intro, but I want you guys to understand that I was you 20 years ago, and I always like to tell people that, because I'm not no Superman. I'm not even though I was a 12-time champion, and listen, I was a huge failure rate, failure when it came to trading, because I don't want you to be like me, ignorant. A young punk kid thought he knew how to trade, and I must have blew up 2 or 3 accounts until I realized to get educated. And that's why I love to teach, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. So a couple of things we're going to be learning. What are high frequency trades, which I'm an expert in. I'm actually one of the pioneers back in the old 20 years ago when he had Internet. I'm going to talk about how brokerage firms will not offer you special features that you need to excel in today's markets. When to use level 3 in total view, where to get the right data, and much, much more. And most importantly, which I know a lot of you guys want to hear, what do we trade? How do we find these stocks? What made the market go 300 points? How do we find stocks like, today, like BIND, maybe some of you heard, that went up literally almost 100% today. I mean, where do you find them? Well, we're going to talk about all that great stuff. But before we do that, let me just do a quick little intro, tell you a little bit about me. First of all, I've been teaching people for over 20 years. I actually started, that's right, Jazz, I'm one of the original SOS bandits back in the early days. And actually, in the next slide, I'm going to tell you something pretty interesting about the SOS bandits. But I started teaching people for over 20 years. Forbes wrote a really great article about a bunch of kids tormenting Wall Street. I was actually one of those kids. And not too long ago, I rang the closing bell with Steve Forbes, which, by the way, not only was it my first time who rang the closing bell, it was also his first time who rang the closing bell. I had a really interesting conversation. Steve Forbes actually envies people like us speakers that educate the world, because he's a very big financial contributor when it comes to education himself. So it was a great experience. And most importantly, one of the things I want to let you guys know that I did come out, which Jazz just brought up, the last day trading book that was out on SOS Bandits was Harvey Halkin. God bless his soul. I don't know if you know he passed away, but I was the next book that has came out on day trading, how to beat market makers in their own game. So Wiley hasn't came out with a day trading book in over 20 years since that book has been out. And also here at Cyber Trade University, we were ranked #1 school 6 years in a row. Now, why are we here? Now we know why Fausto, a little bit about Fausto, about Cyber Trade University. Well, one thing I want all of you guys to understand is we need to learn before we can earn, and that's why we're here. And what I'm about to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you want to trade, if you love trading, you get excited getting up in the morning, but you just can't figure it out why you lose money in certain situations, why you're making money in situations, well, that's what we're going to try to figure out right now. Because 70% of the traders who trade in the market, and don't get scared, fail in trading. Because they don't realize that trading in the market is a job. This is not investing. We're not investing. This is a job, okay? And we have to treat it like a job. And you're supposed to be at a certain time at work like a job, and you need to know what you're doing on your job, okay? And a lot of people just don't get it. Because remember something, nobody here would give their money to anybody who didn't learn anything about finance, right? You wouldn't do that, would you? I know I wouldn't. Okay, we're smarter than that, right? Well, that's why, that's why all of you are here today, to find that mentor that's going to train you how to do it, because you don't want to be part of that 70%. Bill says it's probably 90%. You're probably right, but I want to be a little conservative, okay? Because what you're saying there, right, Bill, is what we're going to talk about right now. The number one biggest reason why people fail, the main reason, the number one reason, people open up a brokerage account. And they open up a brokerage account with the wrong brokerage firm. Okay, so what happened was, here you have a situation where people will go out and they says, let me try it. Let me see how trading is. Let me see if I like it. And then if I'm good at it, then I'm going to learn how to do it. Yeah, that's the guy I want to trade my money, right? Well, what do you think a lot of you are doing right now? You want to go out there. Most of you have an account with the right brokerage firm, but they're not going to tell you the good features and bells and whistles that you need. Now, understand something. I helped pioneer and help develop a lot of these brokerage firm softwares. And I'm telling you, 90% they give you, you don't even need. Okay, you really don't need what they offer. A lot of it is window dressing. A lot of it they're trying to, how can I say it? They're trying to accommodate every type of trader out there. But I'm going to kind of teach you a couple of, yeah, she does got very nice teeth. But you know what? That's what sells, right? And, so let me explain to you why we need to have the right brokerage firm, because these are things that you're not seeing behind closed doors. A lot of your orders are being routed not just by what you hear high-frequency trades, but maybe you've probably heard about dark pools. Anybody know what a dark pool is? Anyone ever heard of a dark pool? Okay, some of you have, some of you haven't, okay? Everybody's like, ooh, dark pools. You got to watch out for those dark pools. I don't know why people make it so scary, But the thing about a dark pool, all you're doing is a brokerage firm is selling you stock they have in inventory. So the bad thing about it is they're kind of trading against you. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like people trading against me. Listen, if they want to trade against me and bet that I'm going to lose, go right ahead, okay? Because I guarantee you they're going to lose, okay? And I'm that confident of a great trader that I am. Remember, I wasn't a 12-time champion by mistake. Now, but for every Fausto, there's another 90% of the people that are going to fail. So they're going to lose 10% of the time. The 90% of the people are going to fail. So what they do is they take the bet. That's what they're doing. So let me explain to you how they do it. This is a trade I did yesterday, okay? This is my Scott trade account. I actually did a trade for an example of a class that I did. And I want to show you something very interesting here. Let me get my crayon. Hold on one second here. Let me get my little tools. Okay. All right. Everybody should see my little dot here now. All right, so you can see my order. I placed an order 1127 to buy 1,000 shares of a stock called FWM, Fairway. Okay. Now, the thing I want to show you here is look what happened right here. Yeah, look what happened. This stock, when I placed the order, was at 1127. I got an email at 1129. And not only that, but I got partial tickets, which, by the way, they didn't tell me that was going to happen. All right. And then if you look over here on the right-hand side, these are all the transactions. Those are my trades on time and sales. And look what time it says, 1129. All right. So here they're telling me I got to execute 1127. I put the order at 27. I got to exit 29. Now, everyone, anyone ever do any racing? Like if you're in college, you ever do like those races in gym? If you gave people a 2-minute head start, how many races are you going to win? Not very many, right? So why do we want to be dealing with somebody that is not only trading, giving an order 2 minutes later? You know what they're doing for those 2 minutes? Think about it. What could they possibly be accomplishing that they can't execute my order immediately and waiting for 2 minutes? Bill says you'll get killed and filled. I like that one. Philip, you're right. They're front running. They're front, or they're trying to work the order. They're trying to make money with my order. They're going through their algorithms, see what's happening out there. Is that what you want? Now, don't get me wrong. They're not a bad company. I mean, listen, I like Scottrade for my IRA, but I'm not going to day trade. I'm not going to aggressively swing trade for the, or trade options through them. I'll get killed every time. Actually, this trade cost me like an extra $100 for them to make it. Now, listen, I'm not going to make a big deal about it because it wasn't more of a day trade. It was more of an example of what the procrastination that they do. So is this who you want to do business with? Because I don't. And let me explain to you what they do. Are they buying and selling? Well, that's what they're doing, Scott. So let's follow this. This is a little diagram I want to show you. Your order gets executed. Okay, this is your order right here. You send it to your brokerage firm. They're going to take your order, and I want you to write this down. Very, very important, okay? Payment for order flow. Does anybody know what that means, payment for order flow? Payment for order flow. Anybody know what that means? What does it mean? Who could tell me what payment for order flow means? There's over 500 people here. You all should know what payment for order flow means. If you don't, I'm going to kind of scare you here. This is where brokerage firms make about 70 to 80% of their profit. They're getting paid by other brokerage firms. They're selling it, you're selling your order to another brokerage firm and getting paid for it. That's what that means. So then it goes from your order, and then if they can't sell it, then it goes to the market maker. It goes through an order routing system. They're going to check if they have stock and inventory, which is the dark pool. If they don't have an inventory, then it goes to a trading desk, which is what I used to do. Remember, I was a market maker, and on the NASDAQ. As a market maker, I'm going to try to buy it on the bid because I have a guaranteed order from you. I'm going to sell it to you and make the spread, and we know some of these spreads could be pretty big. And then the brokerage firm is going to say, "Oh, look, guess what, guys? You just paid $6 a ticket." So meanwhile, you're happy, but meanwhile, I just made a huge spread on it, and then your order gets executed. So listen, is this what you want? Is this how you're going to run a business every day? Could you guys run a family dealing with public transportation every day? Can you? Because I know I can't. Because it's not all about cheap tickets, guys. Because it's really, this car is not in good condition. Okay, you and I are smarter than that. But some of you don't realize that because you get confused and you think, well, how much are the ticket charges? When people tell me and they ask me, oh, how much are their ticket charges? I'm like, do you want to buy the car, or are you worried about what it costs in gas? Because if you worry about the gas mileage, you can't afford the car. So go back to public transportation, pay $2.50 for the bus, and forget about buying the car, because that's what's going to end up happening. This is part of your business. Anyone here own a business? Anyone ran a business before or own a business? What's the definition of business? Making money, right? Is there such thing as free employees? What's the difference from a $6 an hour employee and a $30 an hour employee? You think a guy that wants $30 to $50 an hour is going to work for $6? You get what you pay for, okay? So that's what you have to look for. So where am I going with this whole thing? The thing is this. My goal is I want you to understand that the reason why you're here to learn is because the #1 failure rate, why people fail, is they open up a brokerage account. And a lot of you guys are guilty of it. You know you're guilty, all right? It's okay, because we're trying to fix the problem. Believe me, I was you 20 years ago. Now you have to look at it. How do we fix this problem? Because honestly, everybody, who here loves trading? Anyone here love trading? Who here loves waking up in the morning and think about trading every day? Who's excited to wake up in the morning and says, you know what? I mean, think about it. Who do you want on your team? The guy that just want to get to work in the morning? I mean, we all are, right? Look at Dave. I like that one. Hell yeah, right? We like the money, right? We love it. That's why we're here. If you had a job right now and they says, oh, you got to go to school and learn what you're doing, how many people says, oh yeah, I want to go? Not too many, but we're not convincing you guys, right? That's why you're here. So can't wait for Sunday nights to trade. If it was Sunday, I would trade too. So anyway, the thing that you have to understand is, now let me explain to you what we teach you here at Cyber Trade University. Now you understand a little bit of the failure rate. Let me explain to you how we become successful. When I first started and lost, one of my mentors, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, was my sister. Okay, because my sister was actually smarter than me, and I always admit it today, and she knows it. Is because me and her started as a broker, and we hated it. Okay, and what happened was she actually took a job to learn how to trade through a prop trading company, and I, the egotistical guy that I am, I'm like, I don't need to learn anything. I'll do it myself. I'm not gonna waste my time, right? So basically, I went out there, and as she was learning how to do it right, I was losing money doing it wrong. And what ended up happening, eventually, after getting all the abuse at the dinner table, I kind of raised the white flag, and I'm like, okay, Tina, tell me about, who is Goldman Sachs? Why do you keep talking about, why is he always on the both sides? What the hell is level 2? What is all this stuff? And that's where all the training came in. And then on the first day on the job, when she showed me, when she introduced me to her mentor, and remember, every single one of you guys need a mentor, and don't kid around behind that. If it's me or any other speakers that are here today, every one of you everybody here needs a mentor, and they all tell you that. Went out there, saw exactly what they were showing me on level 2, and I'm like, oh, now it makes perfect sense. I don't control the market, they do, right? So why not just follow the money, right? And I was asking, like, why are these market makers on both sides? And I'm like, well, and after her boss told me, she's like, oh, well, listen, you own a house? I'm like, well, back then, no. I says, I did own a car, and I'm like, when did you buy it? Oh, just bought it a week ago. He said, it's for sale? I'm like, for the right price? Exactly, same thing. These people are always defaulted, ready to buy and sell. And that is something that where a lot of you guys lag. I mean, think about it. You're in a position right now. Anybody own a stock right now? Anybody own anything? Do you have a number in your head where you want to sell it? Do you have a limit order out there defaulted to sell it? Do you have a limit order to get out in case you're going to take a loss? Do you have stop order losses put in? If you're not watching it, well, that's where people make big mistakes. So the thing is this. It's not just shadowing brokerage firms. It's also understanding the chart and seeing why these stocks are making supports and resistance levels. Because at the end of the day, everybody here could become a market maker. There's no reason to deal with public transportation. You could drive your own car, right? Wouldn't that be great to drive our own car? Well, if you notice on the New York Stock Exchange, there's no traders there anymore. You could do it all yourself. So how do we do it ourselves? Well, let's talk about something that is trading 101 basic. Now, does anyone here know how to read level 2 quotes? Just out of curiosity, just give me a yes or a no. Please don't give me a little bit, maybe. There's no such thing. Last time my wife told me she was a little pregnant, I'm like, okay, that doesn't really help, honey. So I guess you're pregnant, right? It's yes or no. All right. So a lot of you don't know. Okay, that's good. So let me teach you a little bit, okay? Hold on one second. Let me just change the colors here. All right. Just going to need my crayons here for a second. Okay. All right. So these are the buyers, and these are the sellers. 1, 2, 3. The first column is the 4-letter abbreviation of the brokerage firm. The second column is the price that the brokerage firm wants to buy the stock for, and the third column is the amount of shares. Everything there is multiplied by 100. And on the ask side, those are the sellers in column 1, the price they want to sell it for, and number 3 is the column amount of shares they want to sell. Now, whoever wants to buy for the most amount of money is up on top. Whoever wants to sell it for less money is down at the bottom. Whoever wants to sell their stock for the least amount of money is up on top. Whoever wants to sell their stock for less money is down at the bottom. So what you're looking at is a negotiated market. Okay, that's what you're basically seeing right here. All right, everyone is negotiating what they want to buy and sell it. Now, that's a lot of good, important data right there, okay? But the thing is, level 2 is getting outdated. Market makers are not really showing their orders as much as they used to, okay? Which leads us to something called level 3. Now, does anyone here know what level 3 is? Level 2 is a joke, Bill, and that's why we need to get to level 3. Wow, a lot of no's. David, you know, what's level 3, David? What's level 3? And it's not a company. And this is not the Fausto software, all right? We didn't invent this. This is NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange data, all right? NASDAQ total view. Okay, great. There you go. Level 3 is total view. Exactly. Now, what is level 3? What is total view? Well, what it is 20 times more data than level 2 is. Now, let me kind of explain it to you. Now, listen to me carefully. Before they call it total view on level 3, when I was a SOS trader back in the old days, we used to call it Instinet. This was an Instinet machine. Now it's actually access to everybody. This is where you see the high frequency trades. Now, right here, level 3, what it's telling you is exactly where all the orders are, where are the mutual funds, hedge funds, market makers, and what I do is I aggregate the orders. Now, who it is, how much, it doesn't matter. All we care about is all we care about is the big orders. All right. So what I'm going to talk about and show you how these orders can influence the price of the stock and also control the support and resistance levels. Now, these are all extra costs. Absolutely, absolutely. Is there a fee for this? Absolutely. You know what? You know what's free? The cheese in the mousetrap. Okay, one thing my daddy always taught me, he says, son, you never ever want nothing for free, okay? Because you just want a good deal. That's all you want. So remember, part of doing business, there is no free lunches and there's no free rent, all right? If there's free rent, there's a problem, all right? So the thing is this, that's right, as a businessman, you want to know what your return on investment is, and there's always investment, there's always expenses that come along with trading, all right? And believe me, one thing we do here at Cybertrade University, we're going to show you how to risk the least amount of money as possible with the high amount of reward. There's things you need to buy, there's things you don't need to buy. But level 3 is basically going to show you where the orders are. Now, when it comes to trading, basically what you're seeing is seeing the big block orders here. You're seeing where all the big block market makers are. Now, Echo, yes, you can buy it through the exchanges, but the thing is, sometimes you don't have to. You can get it with your brokerage firm. But before you guys go there and start saying, okay, what does it cost? Listen, let me teach you what it is first. Let me show you the value, okay? Because let me tell you something, $15, $150, $1,500, I would still buy it because this is my livelihood, all right? So let's have a question for everybody. How do stocks go up and down in the market? Everyone answer that question? How do stocks go up and down? Everybody should be able to answer this question. It's not a hard question. If you can't answer this question, I advise you to quit trading immediately. Don't mind me. We're from New York. We have a very unique sense of humor. We just shoot straight to the hip. I just want, listen, I don't like people losing money, okay? There's no reason for it. And that's why most of you are here and not the 10+ million that are. The main reason how things go up and go down is exactly right. Everyone hit the nail on the head. Supply and demand. To follow supply and demand, what you need to do is follow the money, all right? And how to follow the money is you need to find the guy that's got the most amount of shares. So let's get back to level 3. I assume everyone here has been learning a lot about charts lately. Okay, so let's talk about charts right here. Let's look at this example of this stock right here. Can everybody tell me, looking at this chart, what do you think the stock's going to do? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? What do you guys think? If you don't have a clue, I like that. That's fine. Look, from what you could see on this chart, from your experience, what do you think the stock's going to do? Go up or go down? Well, the first thing you always learn is you always draw trend lines, right? So here you can see that the stock had support levels there, And you can see the kind of stock is kind of breaking out of a resistance level, right? It's kind of breaking that resistance level. So let me change the slide here. So basically, you're getting a little bit of a sample of stock kind of breaking out of a major resistance levels. But why is it breaking a resistance level? Does the chart tell you? I mean, you just said that stocks go up due to supply and demand. Do you see the buyers and sellers out there on the chart? Do you see buyers and sellers? I don't see any buyers and sellers. So how do we know it's going to break out? How did you really know? And don't tell me because the descending triangle. That has no bearing of what we're about to explain to you. Why did the stock break? How did we know it was going to break out? How did you know? You know how I know? The 75,000 share buyer out there. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? The reason why the stock went up is not because the chart said so. Remember, where does the chart get its data from? Supply and demand. Well, when you look over here, now it probably makes sense why, because there's a 75,000 share buyer out there. Now, duh. I think my 6-year-old kid, I did this a class with him, and he's learning numbers. I was teaching him supply and demand. I'm like, okay, Lucas, look at this chart look at this right here. Where do you see? We think the stock's going to do go up or go down? And he goes, well, how do I know, Daddy? I said, well, you said supply and demand, we're buyers and sellers. Well, he goes, well, if there's a lot of buyers, Daddy, at 75,000 versus 2,000, it's probably going to go up. I'm like, wow, if a 5-year-old can figure it out, well, so could we. And guess what? Who here is watching the orders? Anybody here following big block orders out there? Anyone following something what we call iceberg orders? Because that's what we call them here at Cyber Trading University. Think about it. How much smarter and more money would you make if you were able to see those big block orders? Huh? Think about it. That was my big wake-up call when I learned how to trade. That's when I learned when I went out there. Now, once again, this is just basic trading 101, guys, okay? So please take in mind, you know what? Trading is not really hard. The hardest part about trading is the greed and the discipline and taking the time to learn how to trade with the right mentor. That's really the hardest part about trading, okay? So the thing is this. Do you really believe that there is such thing of supply and demand? And if you do, then you're in the right place. And then if you believe that that data is available, well, that's what we teach you at Cyber Trading University. We show you how to follow the money, okay? It's not hard, guys. It's really, really not, okay? You just need to, and here you are. You can look at a chart all you want, but let me be honest with you. Any of you guys watch CNBC? Anyone got CNBC on right now? Look at CNBC on your TV station. Okay, look at the guy who's talking right now. Look behind him on the floor of the exchange. How many charts do you see? How many charts do you see up there? You know what you see up there? Orders. And you know what the orders they're looking at is what we're talking about right now. So that is where, when you look at a stock and you're like, well, why is there, the stock's going to hit resistance at 5. Of course it's going to break down at 5, not because the chart says so, because the 14,000 share seller out there and the other 13,000 share seller out there. That's what it's all about. So when it comes to trading, you're like, well, why did the stock break a resistance and go down from 1637 and now it's at 1623? Because maybe if you knew the 10,000 share seller out there was at 1635, probably would have got out when you should have got out. Remember, the problem with charts is it's past history. It's not indicative of the future. All right. Now, before we move on, ladies and gentlemen, we covered two very important topics. We talked about market makers. We talked about online brokers versus direct access, and we talked about level 2, and we talked about high-frequency trades level 3. Any questions so far? I'm sorry if I'm going a little fast, but they don't really give me too much time for these events, and I got another event I have to do. I have to have another big speaking I have to do at 4:30 Eastern time. So, it is recorded, but if anybody has any quick questions, let me know. No problem, G-Man. Are we dealing with day trading today? Absolutely. Let me tell you something, Phil. You want to be a good trader, you got to be a good day trader, because most people are day traders. Everybody on Wall Street are day traders, and being a good day trader is going to make you that much better of a swing trader and an investor, because it's going to teach you a lot more discipline, and it's going to teach you a lot more of a responsibility, and because what happens over the course of the day is what trickles down to a swing trade to an investment, okay? Be join easy pullback. Yeah, you know what? They could cancel these orders. Absolutely. By the way, I always get people always ask me, I hear stories that these are fake orders. You know, it was funny, but there's a couple of speakers here, you know, and I've done events with them in the past. And I remember I was on the panel at one of the expos, and I had like an analyst with me, and he was like challenging me on this. He goes, "Oh yeah, I heard about those orders. Those are fake orders." And I'm like, "All right." And I was like, "Okay, this guy's really trying to embarrass me." I'm like, "Okay, you think it's fake? First of all, I don't think brokerage firms allow you to put fake orders out there." He goes, "Yeah, but then these people cancel it." I'm like, "Well, if you think it's a fake order, why don't you buy it, and I'll bet you my $1,000 in my pocket to you 100 that's a real order." So let's play spade a spade. There's nothing fake about that order. This is program trading. And now could they cancel an order? Sure, they could. You ever place an order out there and change your mind? What do you think, they're going to hold you up against it? So you have to keep that in mind. And this is the beauty, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe me, I'm going to invite all of you to come watch me trade for a whole week. And most importantly, don't judge me on my winners. Judge me on my losers, how few I have and how we control them, and judge me on watching how I show you to follow the high-frequency trades. Scott, thank you very much for that. And Jazz, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well, now let's get to the fun part, right? Well, I think we got to a lot of fun part. Let's talk about finding stocks. You know, everyone's always like, "How did you find that one, Fausto? I didn't see that. They didn't talk about that on CNBC. I was in one of the chat room. They keep telling me to trade Apple, Apple, Apple." Listen, we are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make money. That's it. It's all we care about. You want to make money. I don't care what I trade. I don't want to know what I trade. I don't care what the company does. It doesn't matter to me. Unfortunately, some major catastrophes made some really big opportunities, okay? Have any of you guys heard of the stock symbol LAKE, L-A-K-E? Ever heard of LAKE? Yeah, that's right, G-Man. We hear about this big catastrophe about Ebola. What did LAKE do? LAKE went from $7 to $36 in 3 days. Why? Because they make the jumpsuits for those rubber suits to protect the people due to Ebola, okay? So you think, you know, so as much as we feel bad, because I don't want to, you know, look at it where you're looking at, oh, what's happening there? Unfortunately, these catastrophes make for opportunities. Look what happened with oil. How about this? Look what happened to these poor, look what happened to these, with those black guys that got killed by the cops, right? So what do they want the cops to do now? Now they want cops to wear cameras, right? Well, did you look what happened to Taser? Taser took off because now they want to take guns away and give them tasers. Now, listen, I don't want to get into political stuff. This is not what it's about. What it is that, unfortunately, some of these catastrophes make for opportunities. I live here in New York. We had a big catastrophe here between 9/11 due to Hurricane Sandy. Home Depot took off. All the generator companies took off because no one had them back then. You know, so you got to look at it. Why are we here? Because we're here to make money. All right. Unfortunately, that's what it's all about. And there's always something new that comes up. You know, gas went up. What happened? Solar stocks went up. You know what I mean? These are all the things that you have to look at. So how do we find these stocks? Well, the one place I look at, one of the best places I look at, is in my trading room. I run a scanner, and I like to trade stocks that are on the biggest percentage gainers and losers. All right? So let's talk about some stocks that we traded today. Now, be careful. A lot of these brokerage firms have all these fancy-dancy platforms, or you remember, a lot of this stuff is all window dressing, okay? It's confusing. They want to make you look like you sound smart. At the end of the day, you don't need any of that junk, okay? Because after that, you make your system look like this, and then you become like this little baby, and I have no clue what you're doing. So the thing is, let's keep it simple. All right, let's do the KISS method and keep it simple. So let's talk about something that we run. I run a professional trading room. I've been doing it for 20 years. I love it. I'm there with my students. I have other instructors out there. So let's talk about some stocks that we've traded. Okay. Yesterday, Halo and ARNA. Now, when you're in my cyber group room, we also tweet and text all our trades. And this is something that we trade in the morning. Everyone saw these stocks yesterday? Anyone seem familiar? The big winner was this one right here, the ARNA. Anybody saw that stock right there? ARNA? Okay, let's check it out. ARNA yesterday, when we did our meeting at 9 a.m., if you noticed, there was a lot of pre-market trading. Everybody see that right there? And then the stock literally took off and went up. You could have just traded. I mean, let's be realistic. You could have just traded, bought the stock at 370, sold it at 450, could have made 75 cents. I mean, granted, it went all the way to 6 all day. All right, it was up 76%. But are these all stocks or these are all stocks? These are all stocks, Nancy. And you know what? Do we have a lot of options traders out there? Who's an options trader? Okay, good. All right, you want to be a good options trader? You want my advice? You better learn how to trade stocks first, because it's the movement of the stock that makes the option move. Remember that. And not all, and you don't, and I always find a lot of people trade options for the wrong reasons, because they think they can't afford the stock, and that's not true. There's a lot of cheap stocks out there that you can afford, and and worrying about other than trading a zillion different ways of trading options. Now, I love options. I trade options all the time. I even day trade options. All right, but if I know what's going on with the stock, so a lot of what I teach you could apply it towards those different markets. Here's another big mover we traded today. Here's we tweet these at 9 a.m. in the morning. You can see some of our big winners out there. Not all of them took off. Listen, we don't trade them all, but we do trade the ones that move most importantly. And did everyone see BIND yesterday? Well, thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it. Bill's saying I was in Fausto's trading room every day this morning. One of the stocks he picked was BIND, went from 7 to 9:20, first 21 minutes, up $2, went to $10 an hour later. Well, thank you very much for sharing that, Bill, because you know what? A lot of people, listen, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that blow smoke and say, oh, you know what? You bought this. What about the losers? Listen, come into the trading room. Look at the losers. We have very few. Well, we might not trade them. We'll teach you how to get out of them. But here you have BINO, which is like what Billy's talking about. Look at that stock right there. Billy just told you. That was that one right there. Okay? Guys, anyone have a calculator? If you bought the stock at 7 and you sold it at 9, how much money would you have made? How much money would you have made? If you bought at 7 and sold it at 9, how much? You guys better have a calculator. It's another rule of trading. You don't look at percent. $2. $2 times 1,000 shares is how much? 2 times 1,000, how much is it? $2,000. 2,000 times 5 days a week times 52 weeks comes out to be about $500,000 a year. Who doesn't want that job? Okay? So these are things that we trade, because potential income, you don't have to make the $2. If you made 50 cents a day, you're talking 20 trading days. Here at Cyber Trading University, we don't try to show you, how to make this. I mean, eventually your goal is to make the 6 figures, but we just try to teach people how to make a day's pay. You know what? I would love to make $200 a day trading only 20 an hour in the morning, then going to work 8 hours a day telling me what to do. And I could be wrong. $200 a day is a lot of money, in today's times. But when you compare it working 8 hours a day and driving and commuting, then sitting at home and doing it in your pajamas, it's a pretty better deal. Because let me tell you something. Trading in the market is the best job in the world. You are your own boss. You come and go whenever you please. It is a business. And if it doesn't work out, hey, you can always cash out. You have nothing to worry to liquidate. So every single one of you guys, like I told you earlier, need a mentor. Do not kid around that. There are some great speakers today. Trading Pub is doing an excellent job picking some great speakers. I hope that I would probably mentor you, but if not,
get somebody else that's in here. If there's something that you like, someone that you know, I always tell people, if you can understand them, and if you have a sense of, you know, love what you do, you know what? It's okay to try everybody's. You know what I mean? What's the worst thing could happen? You spend a couple of bucks. Hey, I don't know if you know, it's also a tax write-off. So, and you know what? It's a lot cheaper making a small investment than losing thousands a day in the market, the way I look at it. So every one of you need a mentor. So just to let you guys know, because we're coming up to the end, Cybertrade University teaches for many brokerage firms. We teach for more brokerage firms than any school in the industry. TradeStation, FXCM, Thinkorswim, Trade Monster, just to name a few. We do education for over 50 brokerage firms all over the world. We have several instructors that work for us here at Cybertrade University. We have a great, great customer service. One thing I highly believe in more than anything, because I always feel that a lot of you guys need hand-holding, and we want to make sure we're there for you. So how do we actually start learning today? How can we be part and know more about seeing us get into these positions, how Fausto and, you know, found these certain stocks, the ARNAs, the BINDs, the Lakes, all these stocks. You know, Yahoo today was another big winner we called out. How do we do that? Well, what I'm offering everyone is this. For today only, for $48, what I'm going to offer everybody is I want you to join me for a week in my trading room. Now, the $48 honestly is paying for the software to us to run the cyber group room. And basically, it is 100% guaranteed, all right? I would love to give it for free, but the problem is we'll have thousands of people in there. And the thing is this, we're looking for serious traders. We're looking for people that are serious about it. And if you do it, if you're not happy, we'll refund you money, okay? It's $48. What you're going to get is you're going to get our pre-market workshop. You're going to get our morning meeting live broadcast with me. You're going to get a live broadcast on options and stocks in the middle of the day. You're going to get a live broadcast in the middle and at the end of the day. It's going to be over 100 hours of live trading for a whole week. You're going to see total view. You're going to see how it works. You're going to see how market makers play bids and offers out there. You're going to see all that stuff. That's right. Even Rich is there too. Rich, Jesse, all our instructors. Greg, all our instructors are there. Now, do you need software? No, you do not need any software. Absolutely not. No software. Listen, forget about the software. Forget about anything. You don't need anything. All you need to do is watch and see if you could actually make money. All right. Now, if anybody here would like to register for that event, your education, once you start, will start immediately. You can go right to our website at Cybertrade University, or what you could do, I'm going to pop up a link right here for you. So you can get up and running. Wow, there's so many here. Can I make an announcement? Let me put the announcement. I guess I can't. I guess you guys could. There's the link to register for that workshop right there. How much of the software? There's no fee for software. You don't need any software. All you need to do is watch. It's all you need to do. Okay. Yes, Richard, it is available. It is being recorded. It's also available on your dashboard when you log into Cybertrade University. We really kind of made it very simple and convenient for everybody to access it. That if you can't make it, you could actually watch the recordings. If you're on the road, you'll get it on your phone. You'll be able to watch the meeting from your phone. Everything. Jazz says once you watch, you'll be hooked. Well, Jazz, listen, Jazz, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you know what? Every single one of you here have the opportunity. If you're not satisfied, once again, it's guaranteed. We'll give you money back, and there's no extra fee after that. All right. So, we're not going to bill you later. If you're satisfied with it and you like it, let us know, and then become a member. You know. And as of after starting tomorrow, it goes up. It's $297 for the package. So you're getting it right now for $48, and it's 100% guaranteed. Listen, if I don't show you stocks up 20% a day, I'm wasting your time. And that's what it's all about. A couple of questions before we go, because I have to actually jump into another meeting right now. Almost out of breath myself. What's the normal cost for the service, Mike? It's $300 a month. But we're not going to charge you anything. We're not going to charge you $300. If you like it, listen, let me tell you something, that BIND today, if you made $2,000 on that stock, and if I was able to show you that every day, would $300 be a lot of money to be in a cyber group room, a trading room? Not really. Probably sounds like a pretty good deal. So, but let me prove it to you. Let me show you tomorrow. Let's see what's going on, see what's happening. Get ready, 8:30 in the morning. You'll get log-on instructions immediately, so you'll be able to access to the trading room immediately. And just sit there and watch and observe. It's all online. It's all online. No problem. Well, once again, Jazz, you know, and everybody else, if you're a futures trader, a Forex trader, we talk about that over the course of the day. I preferably just like the stock trade. We do talk about, you know, we have other instructors, we have meetings that we do about that in the trading room also, because, you know, it's important that everyone's a little more diversified, especially what's happening with oil right now. You know, it's going to be a great pop in that. I'm seeing a huge bounce coming soon. Just got to sit back and wait. Listen, the same way how oil's futures, options trade, you know, stocks, they all trade exactly the same. It's all due to supply and demand. What about trading platforms, Phil? Phil, this is it. Listen to me carefully, Phil. When you sign up for the $49, you're going to be assigned an education advisor. And not only that, but you're going to get an instructor too, and they'll tell you what would be best. Every single one of you are a case-by-case basis. Don't worry about the platform. You're going back to what I talked about earlier today. You're going back to what brokerage firm I need. You don't need a brokerage firm right now. You first need to learn how to drive. Let me teach you how to drive first, and then we'll go shopping for a new car. Does that sound fair? Okay, good. Richard, trade Forex? So do I. And, you know, we have great instructors here that teach Forex also. And I know there was a couple of Forex presenters here talking also, you know, which is great. You know, listen, you can always learn something new from everybody. Listen, great traders never stop learning. Remember that. I was just in Vegas. I was sitting in a couple of rooms. You know, I remember I was on a panel, and you know, Keen on the Markets was sitting in our room listening to us, and he's a great trader. Why was he there? Because he was like everybody else, learning. Hours of the classroom is from 8:30 in the morning Eastern Time to 4 o'clock. You can't get through the link. Is the link down? No, well, if you can't, give us a call here, 877-70-CYBER. Okay? But that's really just click on that link to be able to register. All right, guys, so listen, I'm out of time right now. I have to, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here, and from myself and everyone at Cyber Trading University, we really, really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Trading Pub for having me here today. I'd like to thank also all the speakers that are here. I had a lot of great topics that they were talking about. Hopefully everybody learned a lot, and your probably brain is on, like, you know, with all the knowledge you guys are learning on, like, overdrive. But it's good that it's recorded. You can go back at night when you're lying on bed, put it on your iPad, watch it a little bit. You always need to go back and review it a little bit. Just keep in mind that the promo that we're offering is for today, and it's 100% guaranteed if you're not satisfied. All right, guys, listen, thank you so much. Hopefully you learned a lot. Everybody, I want to wish everyone a happy 2015. Hopefully it was as good as your 2014, because I always look to things to be better going into the following year, you know, and it was a really good year last year. And so far with all today's volatility and what's going on, it's going to be a very interesting market. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me, Trading Pub. Everyone, happy trading.